Hey everyone, this is ViolinguyGolf. Another beautiful day here in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, I don't know if I go so high. It's beautiful right now. It's like 69 degrees and sunny, but it's also 9:30 in the morning, so that's going to change by the time it gets to be 1 or 2 o'clock, and it's like 89 or 90, which, you know, come on now. I mean, we're October in a couple of days. So for crying out loud, let's get some fall weather. I mean, Atlanta, despite being in the deep south, does have fall weather. So one of the things I like about living here is one of the few things I like about living here, but that's beside the point. All right, today we are going to be doing kind of a tutorial video on golf course design. And this actually doesn't have as much to do with the designer itself, the techniques and tools of the TGC golf course designing software. This has more to do with just basic golf course design theory, if you will, philosophy. Theory is a better word, actually, because could I fidget anymore? Seriously. Theory is a better word, really, because there are some things in regular golf course design, you know, golf course architecture, if you will, that are important. And I'm going to hit a few of them today. We're going to do 4 things today. We're going to talk about green size. Okay, we're going to talk about fairway size, fairway width. We're going to talk about overall course length, and we're going to talk about fairway starting point. All right, let's start with fairways. Fairways, you know, in terms of, you know, your basic rules of golf course design, fairways need to be wide enough to accept a good shot. Okay, so let's see how wide this fairway is. Let's see, this is 267, so this is like 284, which is, you know, about where you're going to get most of your landing spots, maybe a little bit before that. 25 yards wide. That ain't too bad, okay? But if you back up just a little bit, here's 235, here's 250. Now you're 30-plus yards wide, okay? And that's, you know, and I'm not doing this to pat myself on the back. I mean, I'm trying to practice good. Oops, got to fix this spline. Hold on a second. We got some bad looking. There we go. Just kind of move this way. Splines are a pain in the butt, but I'm finding in order to get these smooth edges, I need to use spline rather than shapes, or brushes rather. Okay, so this fairway is, you know, 23 to 25 yards wide when it starts to thin out as you get further down. And then back here, super wide. I mean, 30 plus, 30, you know, down here, it's got to be almost 40 yards wide. Let's see. Oops. Measure. Yeah, see, we're 40 yards wide down at the widest part. So, you know, 25 yards wide is, in my opinion, about minimum that you're going to want to have for fairway width. Okay, 25 yards wide is, you know, any less than that on tour anyway, in real life, any less than that, it's very, very narrow. Okay, more than 35 or 40 yards wide is considered, you know, gargantuan. So now in this game, this is a video game where, you know, players tend to be more accurate and longer, although this game kind of has curbed the length thing from, say, the Tiger Woods or PGA days. So so you can afford to go a little bit more narrow with your fairways. Man, that didn't work. This one has always looked bad. I'm sorry. Now I'm kind of coming in here and fixing up my golf course. See, now that looks even worse. So we gotta fix this. See if that works. That's gonna look even worse, I bet. Yeah, so let's fix this back this way. Sorry about that. I'm getting off topic here. I'll deal with that later. So fairways need to be a certain width. I'm trying to make these fairways a little bit more narrow. This hole, for example, if you hit it on a straight line from the back tees, straight on through, through the waypoint, which I have right in the middle, okay, if you go all the way through, right here is 300, 300 yards. Most guys on a downhill tee shot with relatively firm fairways, they're going to hit it 310. Okay, so 310 is you're in the rough. All right, there's going to be a tree right out here, so if you do get all the way over there, look out. Okay, if you try to cut it off, here's some large, going to be very deep bunkers. Okay, I'm going to probably expand this one a little bit to go over here. But if you try to get cute and try to cut the dog leg off, you got to hit it 274, 275, 280 to clear the hazard. So in my opinion, that's a well-designed hole for this game. Okay, in real life, 250, 260 is more where the bunkers are going to be. As golf course design and the tour players hit it longer and longer, golf courses are going to be redesigned and things like that. So that's fairway width, okay? Fairway width, 25, 30 yards is where you want your landing area to be. Certainly you can have less and certainly you can have more. Rules are meant to be broken, but you can't have an entire golf course of 18-yard wide fairways. Players are going to hate that, okay? And it's boring. You want to have variety on your golf course. So next thing is, where does the fairway start? Okay, now I remember a bunch of years ago, I think it was Bethpage. The first year it hosted the Open, which was, I don't remember, it was like, 99, something like that, when Bethpage hosted or 2002, or I forget when they first hosted the Open, but, excuse me, I got to drink that before it's cold. But a lot of players were complaining about Bethpage because it was truly a long hitter's golf course. And there were carries of 250 plus just to reach where the fairway started. Okay? A hole playing into a 15 or 20 mile an hour wind, 250 is a long way to hit it, especially for the guys, on tour that don't hit it that long. Okay, in today's world, that's Jordan Spieth. He's not a long hitter. He hits it fine. I mean, if he gets into one, he can still hit a ball 300 yards. But I don't know what he's averaging on tour for length. It's got to be 295, 298, something like that. Okay, Dustin Johnson and these guys are averaging 315. So I mean, you can't count on every player being able to even reach the fairway. There were carries of up to, I believe, like 260, 270 at Bethpage. And the shorter hitters were complaining. They're like, hey, come on, man. You've made this golf course only accessible to the longest hitters. Okay? And there are shorter hitters who are really, really good players. What I'm getting at is you can't have your fairway start 300 yards from the tee. Okay? Because nobody can hit it that far on a fly. Okay? You can't have forced carries of over, I'm going to say 240, 250, just to be safe. Again, 250 into a 20 mile an hour wind in real life and in this game is just not possible. There's a lot. You hit driver even with tour clubs. You're not going to carry that. Okay, so 200 is kind of where I start most of my fairways at. This one starts early. I'm not sure why I did that. I think it was for line of sight really, because I wanted to be able to see from the tee. Let's see what we could see from the tee. Oops, wrong thing. It's very important that you can see from the tee. This is another kind of golf course design theory thing, is you need to be able to see what you're hitting at. Okay, those two bunkers have to be visible from the tee. All right, and they absolutely are. So I'm going to hit it with, like a little bit of a, oops, pushed it. Now that's probably going to get through the fairway, which is, I'm actually kind of happy that that's happening, because that's how I designed this golf hole. Okay, that was a drive that wasn't really super terribly offline. Okay, but now I'm in huge trouble. I'm 270 yards from the, from the green, hitting out of the fotch. So, all right, let's get out of here. So, yeah, fairway start has to be, 200, 240 at the most and less. All right, so that's going to bring me to overall golf course length. Okay, so here's the 8th hole, for example. Let's see, how far is my fairway start this time? 206. Okay, carrying the water is about 190. All right, not, that water's really not in play if you hit it straight. It's in play over here if you push one, which I've done a few times. So anyways, but overall course length, there was a thread on both HB forums and TGC Tours about length of golf course and what's the maximum length that is acceptable. And, my thoughts on that were that, length of a golf course, let's see, $1.82, length of a golf course has to be, acceptable. Okay, now I prefer to design within the parameters of real world golf. So the longest golf course that I have published for TGC was 7,500 yards, just over 7,500. I can't remember what Kensington Point was. It's not a very polished golf course. So, but Maestoso was, or is, 7550. My most recent golf course, Destiny Dunes. Destiny Dunes is par 71 and 7,100. Not quite 7,200, okay? So, those are real world numbers. Occasionally you're going to see in the U.S. Open, like Aaron Hills was par 70, par 71, and 7,600 yards or something. Okay, again, all within the realm of those are, those are realistic numbers. So if you design to those numbers in this game, you're going to be fine. That being said, this is also a video game. Okay, so these golf courses, in order to challenge the guys that go out and shoot 57 every round, okay, you got to do some things to make your golf course tough. Okay, length is one of those things, but not every 8,000 yard golf course is great. All right, just like in the real world, you might have a harbor town that is, what is harbor town? Harbor town's like 6,800, 6,900 yards or something like that. Okay, and a lot of tour pros don't go there because the course is too hard. Actually, it's not the course is too hard. It doesn't fit their game. Guys like Phil Mickelson, he wants to bomb it off the tee, and it's not a golf course where you can bomb it off the tee. There's too much trouble to get in, and but bombers don't usually win that golf tournament. Jordan Spieth won it. Jim Furyk has won it, like 7 million times or whatever. Davis Love won it, like, what did he win it? Like 6 times or something. Okay. Not the longest hitters ever. Davis Love, of the 3 of those that I mentioned, probably hit it the longest in his career. So anyway, that being said, your golf course needs to show some restraint, I think. And we can't be having 81, 8,500 yard golf courses. All right. First of all, it's boring. Okay, guys are not going to be wanting to hit driver 5 wood on every stinking hole. Okay, if every golf hole that they play, every par 4, if every par 4 is 502 yards, okay, it's boring. Okay, and it's discouraging. Okay, and that's something that's important. Is that's discouraging to a golfer. Especially if you're struggling. Okay, let's say you start like bogey par bogey or something like that, or par double, and now you're on the 3rd hole and you're like, man, I need to stop this bleeding, and the 3rd hole is 510 yard par 4. Okay, that messes with your head, and trust me, I am all for messing with golfers' heads. I love doing it, but let's show some restraint here. Give opportunities to players that don't hit it that long. So let's say this hole right in here, 465, it's the first hole. Hit a good drive, you're hitting it to about there. That's 300, $156 to the green. So that's like a normal, that's a driving an 8 iron, driving a 6 iron, or driving a 7 iron maybe. Okay, or 3 wood and 6 iron, something like that. Let me go back to this. By the way, I'm hitting, if you didn't know this already, I am hitting the right stick, but I'm pressing the right stick. So it's like R, whatever it is, R something. or S, I think it is. So I've only laid out 9 holes, okay, and I'm at 3720, which is going to put me, if the back 9 is just as long, that's going to put me at 7,400 plus. All right, not bad. I'm making this golf course difficult on purpose, and I'm making it difficult on purpose in a more subtle way than having water hazards on every hole and waste areas and crazy elevation. I'm trying to make this a more subtle U.S. Open style, long, firm, fast with traditional hazards set up. More like I'm going to call this my Muirfield Village. Okay, it's going to be Muirfield Village to me is one of Jack's best courses. Okay, I love that golf course. All right. And it's not a tricked up golf course. I mean, yes, like the 12th hole is the 12th hole at Augusta. I get that. A little longer than the 12th at Augusta, though. But you see what I'm getting at. So, yeah, your overall length of your golf course has to be, we'll say 7,900 being the upper range of it. Like, I don't think I will design a golf course that's even approaches running that. A little long here, so I'm going to try to wrap this up. But this one is actually, to me, is one of the most important things in golf course design. And I'm talking about size of greens, okay? The size of the green on whatever hole it is has to be relative to the length of shot required to hit said green, okay? So let's look at my hole number 2 again. Hit number 2. Sorry, I'm feeling a little juvenile this morning. So here's the second hole, okay? I've gone off and hit a nice drive. I'm out here at 315. I got 250 exactly to the hole. That's a 3-wood, okay? I got to maybe choke down a 3-wood from there, okay? So I've got to have a green that's big enough to accept that shot, and this green is, okay? The length, the on the line of that shot, the green is 25 yards. Okay, 20 is my minimum size for a green, is 20 yards in either direction. Okay, but this green is, probably, it's probably 40 yards edge to edge here. No, it's 30 exactly. So honestly, this green's a little smaller than maybe I would have gone with. But it's still a pretty decently sized green. Okay, a 3-wood that hits somewhere on the front of this green here will probably stay on. Okay, certainly if you're over here and you've laid up, certainly a pitching wedge is going to stop anywhere. This green has a pretty severe false front on it, though. Ball's going to run off here. I need to fix this a little bit. Ball's going to run off the side over here. So, but that green is big enough to accept that shot. Now, speaking of that, let's get over here. Where was my 6th hole? 666, where are you? There you are. Okay, so 6th hole. Let's say you go ahead and hit a 3-wood off the tee, and you're able to kind of, turn one over around the corner, and now you're at 275. Okay, you're only 135 yards to that green, so you're going to be hitting a wedge of some sort. Probably a pitching wedge, maybe even a gap wedge if you're downwind. I don't know how uphill this is going to play, but it's going to play uphill a little. Okay, so this green can be smaller because you're hitting a pitching wedge. Okay, you're going to have more accuracy even with a bad shot, with pitching wedge than you're going to have with, with a 7-iron or even a 5-iron. Greens have to be an appropriate size for the type of shot being played in there. All right. Now, everything I've gone over today, fairway size, fairway start, course length, and green size, everything is, subject to interpretation and subject to, rules being broken. Okay. There's a lot of good golf courses, if you go, that are on TGC that are, 7,800 yards. Okay. I find that to be a little lengthy, but some golf courses that are that length, like, for example, my Estoso golf course, that golf course is 76, almost 7,600 yards, and certainly doesn't play that long. Plays much shorter than that because you got so much downhill. You've got, firm fairways and things like that. So, I mean, there are things you can do to make your golf course longer or shorter without adjusting the length. So, I hope these tips help. Even though we're designing for a video game, you have to use you know, the laws and theories and correct sort of rules of golf course design in real life, you have to apply some of those rules to your golf course. Best of luck to all of you. Do your best work when you design these golf courses. You know, don't take, you know, take your time. Okay, don't rush through a golf course just because you want to get something published. All right, there's a lot of garbage in that catalog, boy. And, you know, make sure your golf course isn't one of them. Okay, set it apart from the others, you know, and try to make every hole special. Try to make every golf course special. That's the reason I do these videos. So, best of luck to you. You guys have a terrific weekend. Today's Friday. This will probably go up on YouTube later today or tomorrow. Have yourselves a great weekend. Enjoy your fall. We'll see you guys another time. You know, I might do another video today. We'll see what I got time for. And, you know, have a good weekend. Violin Guy is out. Take it easy.